Government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
It reminded me of the words of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. America, this is our moment. America, this is our challenge. This is our controversy. It reminds me of the words of Angela Davis, I am no longer accepting the things I cannot change. I am changing the things I cannot accept. Now, I want to say two quick things. Everybody I just quoted was a leader of the Black Liberation Movement. If you look like me in this crowd, let me be a little bit more clear. If you're white, I need you to really absorb what I just said. Everybody I just read a quote from is a leader of the Black Liberation Movement. I want you to notice how everything they said is still fucking relevant today.
And rising family, welcome back to my YouTube commentary. Now, the white people are now regretting. Why? They are regretting for not listening to black people's greatest thinkers. They are regretting for not listening to great professors. They are regretting for not listening to Malcolm X. They are regretting for not listening to MLK, Martin Luther King Jr. Now, they laughed when Malcolm X warned them. They silenced Marcus Garvey when he dreamed too big, and they dismissed Dr. John Henrik Clark as a radical. But right now, on these current days, the same white world, the same white people that mocked black genius is quoting their rods. They are quoting what these people said, and they are standing on congregation and telling them, you know what, if we would have listened to these black people, maybe things could be different. Now, I want you to watch this video. This is a white man, Ginger something, I know, I'll write his name here down. I want you to listen what he's saying, what he's telling his fellow white people, and then you will see where I'm going with this topic, okay? But I know you've come across white people, Latino, Asians, who are regretting not listening to black people, okay? Let's watch this one, and then I'll come back with more commentary.
Jolly Good Ginger, who many of you know from his voice over the social medias. Very happy to be on the stage with him. Jolly Good Ginger.
Can you hear me in the back? Well, I can't hear you. Can you hear me in the back? The Reverend brought up Afeni, who was arrested while simply doing her civic duty, filming these fascist thugs as they harass United States citizens. And that inspired what I'm about to say today. I got some notes on my phone. I hope you don't mind if I reference them. But it is not lost on me that she is a black woman, and that's who they arrested, because that is what America is. I want to give you a quick trip down memory lane, because as they arrested Afeni, it reminded me of the words of Fred Hampton. You can lock up a revolutionary. You cannot lock up a revolution. It reminded me of the words of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. America, this is our moment. America, this is our challenge. This is our controversy. I'm going to ask you a simple fucking question. Where do you stand? Where you stand tells me everything I need to know about you. I look out here today, I see a lot of people who could have stayed at home, but you stand here. I look across America at all the different protests, and I see those who stand in front of fascists and say, hell no, we won't go. I also see those who wear their fucking mask and kidnap people off the street. I also see those. I also see those in the White House who are directing this fascist takeover of our country. And where they stand tells me everything I need to know. History will not be kind to you. History will not be kind to you, but neither will we. It reminds me of the words of Angela Davis, I am no longer accepting the things I cannot change. I am changing the things I cannot accept. One of the co-founders of the Black Panthers, Bobby Seale, said, the only solution to pollution is the people's humane revolution. What did Bobby Seale define as revolution? Thank you for asking, guys, because I want to tell you. Revolution is about the need to re-evolve political, economic, and social justice and power back into the hands of the people, preferably through legislation and policies that make human sense. That's what revolution is about. Revolution is not about shootouts. Now, I want to say two quick things. Everybody I just quoted was a leader of the Black liberation movement. If you look like me in this crowd, let me be a little bit more clear. If you're fucking white, I need you to really absorb what I just said. Everybody I just read a quote from is a leader of the Black liberation movement. I want you to notice how everything they said is still fucking relevant today. I want you to know that how every word I read still resonated with your soul. It still resonated with your spirit. Well, what I'm about to say is going to hurt some feelings, and I'm okay with that. But I need every American to understand that the black community's had it right the whole fucking time. I was raised in the mountains. I was raised to be racist. I was raised a white supremacist because that's what America fucking is. I joined the army when I was 18. I went off to Iraq and Afghanistan. Those are both occupations. I denounced them. You see, I was taught the ideas of white supremacy, but the reality is, hadn't we just listened to black people 60 fucking years ago, we wouldn't be here. Yep. The problem is, white people love to accept progress as success. We'll say it again. White people like to accept progress as success. Well, let me quote another black revolutionary, El Haj Malik El Shabazz. For those unread, you may know him as Malcolm X. Malcolm said, if you stick a knife in my back 9 inches and pull it out 6 inches, there's no progress. If you pull it out all the way, that's not progress. The progress is healing the wound that's below the blow that was made. And they haven't even begun to pull the knife out, much less heal the wound. Progress means always going forward. If you think MAGA is the result of this, you're not paying attention. MAGA is the result of white supremacy. I'm going to speak fast now, so rewind the tape if you don't keep up. After the Civil War, we allowed Jim Crow to start. We allowed the 13th Amendment to change slavery from the fields to the penitentiary. We allowed the United Daughters of the Confederacy to build statues and rewrite history books. We allowed the KKK to roam free and produce films that were shown right down the street in the White House. We allowed the assassination of the very leaders I just finished quoting. We allowed the war on drugs to target black and brown communities under the auspices of cleaning up our streets. We allowed the President of the United States to use the term super predator. I'm talking to you, Clinton. We allowed them black men in handcuffs. We allowed them to drag black men in handcuffs across the TV screen every day on the evening news so that America would be conditioned to believe that the war on drugs was the war on black and brown communities. We allowed the rise of Donald Trump. We allowed MAGA. And now here we are full circle. Cleaning up our streets is what they tell us. Here we are full circle. We're just trying to get the thugs off the streets. Here we are full circle as we allow them to harass the unhoused, to further over-police black and brown neighborhoods, to terrorize migrants, and to suppress the voices of dissent. As I break shit. Well, let me be loud and clear. Not on our watch. Not on our watch. As Fannie Lou Hamer once said, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. It's time that we acknowledge the true poison in this country, the true cancer in this country. It's white supremacy. It's why the fuck we're here. The white supremacists in the White House right now isn't the last of them. They are the Heritage Foundation. They are J.D. Vance. They are Russell Vought. They are Steve Miller. They are the MAGA movement. Trump, you're right. Trump must go now. You're right. But white supremacy must fucking follow. If we ever hope of ridding our country of this evil once and for all, white supremacy must go now. Never forget, my friends, never forget that the power of the people is greater than the power of the people in charge. The power of the people is greater than the people in power, and that's why all power to the people. 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 Thank you.
Welcome back. Now, white supremacy for centuries tried to define intelligence through European eyes. You know, they were dismissing African philosophy, they were dismissing African spirituality and science as primitive. But right now, their so-called civilization is crumbling. Okay? It's crumbling, and they are running back to the very wisdom they ignored. You know, when they used to mock black great thinkers, black professors who spoke about unity, who spoke about culture, who spoke about self-love, and now the same topics are now trending right now on global platforms, global stages. Even white intellectuals are admiring or admitting that we should have listened. Okay? Now, black people have the wisdom, but they mocked this wisdom. How? For example, when Marcus Garvey said, a people without knowledge of their past history, origin, and culture is like a tree without roots. Let me tell you, they laughed. They laughed and called him delusional. And right now, look at the Western world today. Young people disconnected from heritage, they are confused about identity, they are drowning in loneliness. Marcus Garvey warned that without cultural foundation, a nation collapses. And that's exactly what is happening right now. When Malcolm X said that only a fool will let his enemy educate his children, they label him extreme. Okay? But today even white parents today are pulling their kids out of public schools and public texts, and they teach them obedience instead of wisdom. There are these schools that teach obedience. They are pulling them. When Dr. Francis described racism as a system of genetic survival, white scholars mocked her theories. But right now, global birth rate reports are confirming that what she said exactly, what she predicted, they are confirming that. A fear of extinction driving policies, a fear of extinctions driving cultural wars and supremacist panic. A lot of great thinkers talked about a lot of things. A lot. You know, some proved ancient Egypt was African, but Western historians dismissed him. But right today, DNA evidence, art, and archaeology confirm his truth. That even white Egyptologists, they now whisper what professors like Diop shouted decades ago, okay? That Africa is cradle of civilization. Now, right now, there's one thing that is reality. White system, or the system, feared black intelligence. That is reality. They feared, and they still fear up to now black intelligence. Okay? White power never feared black violence. No. White powers feared black intelligence because knowledge dismantles control. And when you educate a people about their worth, when you educate a people about their roots, their brilliance, you destroy the myth that built white supremacy. And that's why for centuries black schools were underfunded. That's why African history or they are trying to erase it. That's why they made our heroes villains and their villains heroes. They didn't just want to silence black voices, but they wanted to erase black memory. Okay? When you look from colonial classrooms to Hollywood film, they created a single message that black people contributed nothing. Black people are inferior. God is ours. Jesus is black. The Bible is ours, But our thinkers fought back. They wrote, they taught, they built movements. And right now in 2025, the same white institutions that once banned their ideas are begging for diversity, are begging for equity, are begging for inclusion, because you cannot exclude the very minds that invented humanity. You cannot do that. Okay? Now, our black scholars need to be named with a honor. Okay? And these are the giants that they refuse to hear. For example, Dr. Amos Wilson, who explained that economic domination begins in the mind. Dr. Francis Cress decoded racism as psychological warfare. John Henrik Clark, who said history is a clock that people use to tell their political and cultural time of day. A lot of them, we need to honor them. They weren't just professors, but they were prophets of truth. They foresaw everything we are living through right now. Economic collapse, spiritual confusion, environmental disaster, diseases, everything. The emptiness of capitalism. So they told white society that your system of greed will consume you, but white people, white arrogance answered with laughter. And now those laughters have turned into tears and regrets, into cries. Let's be honest here. Let's be honest. White regret isn't repentance. White regret, it's realization. They are realizing that. They are not crying because they suddenly respect black genius. They are crying because their system is falling. Okay? When black economics warned about debt slavery, they ignored it. When black sociologists warned about mental illness rising from capitalism, they mocked it. When African elders say that you cannot destroy nature and expect peace, they call it superstition. Right now, climate change is teaching them the same lesson they ignored. The same lesson our ancestors tried to explain through spirituality. They regret ignoring black wisdom because now they need it to survive. They need those words. And that's why that man on that congregation stood up and told fellow white people that this, what I'm quoting, what we are living today is what black people, black professors, black thinkers said. They talked about this, Now, let me say this. Right now, they are reading our books. Okay? They are reading our books. They are quoting our lectures. They are sampling our culture. But they still fear our power. Okay? Because to truly honor black thinkers will mean dismantling the system built on their silence. For example, Marcus Garvey prophesied the fall of empires built on oppression. He said that a time will come when those who oppressed Africa will beg to return to her soil for survival. Okay? Now look at the West today. The West is fleeing. Economic is collapsing, moral confusion, political division. People are fleeing to Africa for peace and opportunity. So the prophecy has arrived. And Dr. Clark said, history will repeat itself until black people wrote their own story. Right now, black filmmakers, black writers, black educators are doing exactly that. And the world can't stop watching. Dr. Wilson warned that the fear of genetic extinction will fuel white aggression. Now, we see it in laws right now. We see it in politics. We see it. It is rising racism. They are fighting for control. They are fighting to come on the limelight, not realizing that they are fighting against time. Our thinkers didn't just study. They saw. They looked beyond the physical and read the spiritual rhythm of humanity. And right now, their words are manifesting like thunder. Okay? Universities that once mocked are now admitting the truth. The same university that ignored black scholars now hold conferences in their names. Harvard is citing Garvey. Oxford is quoting Diop, and documentaries are calling Malcolm X of the most influential political minds in the 20th century. But being clear, they are not honoring them out of love, but they are doing it out of necessity, okay? Because truth has become too loud to hide, okay? For a number of years, they build walls. They build walls around white intellect, okay? Now those walls are falling brick by brick under the weight of black genius. Even AI itself, artificial intelligence exposes everything. It exposes bias. It repeats the same racism programmed by white supremacy, and guess who is fixing it? It's black scientists and African data atheists. Because once again, the solution lies in the wisdom, okay? This wisdom they ignored, that's where solution lies. And when you deny truth, when you deny evolution, the world paid a heavy price for ignoring black wisdom. Millions died in wars driven by greed. Nature rebelled through climate destruction, So society scrambled under loneliness and division. Why? Because they rejected the African principle of Ubuntu. Ubuntu. I am because we are. They choose individualism over community. They choose competition over compassion. They choose profit over people. Right now, black thinkers carry the cure, and right now they are looking for that cure. They are looking for that balance, okay? White supremacists they chose diseases, they chose control, and right now the patient is dying, searching for medicine from the healer they once enslaved. Look around. White intellectuals on podcasts are out here saying that, we misunderstood Malcolm X. They are out here saying that they are admitting that Egypt was in Africa, that civilization started in Africa. White activists are quoting Marcus Garvey on self-reliance. They are realizing that the people who they demonized were the only ones speaking the truth. Their system did not speak any truth. Their system was using you. But the beauty in this is that black people no longer need validation. We don't need apologies. We are standing tall, teaching the world again on our own terms. Every time a young black child learns about Dr. Clark's, the world changes. Every time an African student studies Garvey instead of Gandhi, the world heals. Every time a diaspora mind wakes up, our system loses power. Across America, Europe, and Africa, black people right now are reconnecting to the wisdom they once mocked, okay? Books like Cold War, Powernomics, and the ISIS papers of ISIS paper, okay? These books right now are bestsellers. Lectures by Amos Wilson, for example, are going viral. Young Africans are quoting Malcolm X more than Western politicians. The diaspora is realizing that knowledge is the new revolution, because freedom without knowledge is slavery with decoration. White people are looking for teachers. I can offer to be a teacher, because those teachers are us. You are the teacher. They are looking for you. Even if most of them have not declared, but they are looking for you, because what they want, we have it. For years, the West saw Africa as a place to exploit, but right now it's the place they run for survival. They are packing their bags, coming back here. They are paying higher amount for African foods, for African spirituality, for African art, all trending. They are coming back not out of love, but out of desperation. Because as the Western system collapses, Africa rhythm rises. And the thinkers they once ignored has become the guides for global restoration, The world is discovering that what our ancestors knew, that balance, community, and spiritualities are not optional, but they are life itself. You may wonder, I'm talking about our great thinkers, but maybe as a Gen Z, you wonder, lessons. What are the lessons from the black genius? What did our thinkers really teach the world? I can say they taught us that freedom begins in the mind. They taught us that education without identity is confusion. They taught us that power is not money, it is self-acknowledge or self-knowledge. They taught us that no race can rise by standing on another's neck. These are not just academic ideas, but they are spiritual laws. And any civilization that violates them destroyed itself. And that's why the West is falling, okay? Not because of politics, but because of pride. Because of pride. Right now, new schools, new online platforms, new Pan-African universities are emerging. They are teaching African history. They are teaching African spirituality. They are teaching economics from our own perspective. Young minds right now are being trained to think as creators, not followers, but as creators. And that's what Garvey dreamed. Marcus Garvey dreamed about that. That's what Dr. Clark predicted. And this time, we are not asking permission as black people, because history belongs to those who write it. And we are writing history again. We are writing history. The regret of white people should just remind us one thing, that we must never abandon our own thinkers again, because when we ignore wisdom, others weaponize it. So every black professor, every historian, every community teacher matters. They hold the key our ancestors died to protect. If we don't listen to them, history will repeat. But if we do, we will rewrite destiny itself. From Nairobi, Kenya to Caribbean to Europe to South America, black voices are rising in harmony, and they are saying that we told you, they are saying we warned you, they are saying now you see. Those are the words we are using right now. You see, we warned you, we told you. And the world is listening because they can no longer deny it. Even global institutions like the UN are citing African philosophers on climate and peace. The same wisdom they once erased, they now call innovation. But we know the truth, okay? It was always African, not innovation. It's always African. Beyond politics, there is something deeper happening right now. White regret is not just intellectual, it is spiritual. It is the soul realizing that it violated universal law, okay? You can't enslave, you can't exploit or erase a people without cosmic consequences, okay? The ancestors of Africa are rising not in revenge, but they are rising in revelation. The energy of truth is restoring balance. Every time a white scholar, every time a white person, every time a white kid, a white admits that African was right, that is a spiritual debt paid. A spiritual debt is being paid. Every time a black mind awakens, the world takes one step closer to justice. Our generation is the bridge. Okay, we are the one connecting what was lost to what must rise. So we must read, we must teach, we must share and preserve, because we are the living continuation of those thinkers. Channel our voices on YouTube, our voices on TikTok, classrooms, podcasts, because these are new platforms right now of liberation. We are not just influencers, okay? We are educators. For example, I'm not just influencer, I am educator. What I'm trying to do is to educating those who want to know what is really happening. So we are not just content creators. I'm not just content creator. No. Don't look at me as just content creator. I'm more than that. I am history keeper, and the world is watching. I appreciate each one who is watching these videos. I appreciate each one who is sharing. I appreciate each and everyone who is liking, sending super thanks, commenting, subscribing, because you are preserving history. You are history keeper. You are rewriting history. We are doing the work that our ancestors wanted. This is a continuation of our ancestors. So for you just to watching the videos is enough. You have done enough. For you sharing, you have done great, but you have played your role, and the ancestors are happy. The God of black people is happy. The Western world is now whispering what it once denied, that maybe Africa had the answer all along. Maybe we misunderstood those black intellectuals, maybe our definition of progress was destruction. Those maybe, all of the maybes are the cracks in the wall of arrogance. And through those cracks, truth is shining again, okay? They regret not listening because the silence cost them everything. The silence cost them peace, balance, humanity. And now they seek salvation from the people they enslaved, okay? And that is what I call divine justice. That's divine justice. So this may not be the end. It's not the end. I think it's the beginning. A new black renaissance is emerging. A new black power is emerging, okay? From Kenya, Nairobi to Atlanta to Kingston, black excellence is no longer hidden. It's the foundation of the future. And the thinkers, they ignored oh my God damn it. God damn it. They ignored our professors and the great thinkers, but they planted seeds. I am a seed. I am a flower. They planted seeds. For example, I am a flower. So no amount of regret can stop the garden from blooming, okay? Because the spirit of Africa has returned to lead. Now, to every black thinker who was silenced, I'm saying this: your words survived. Your techniques, your teachings live in us up to today, and your legacy is our weapon of peace, okay? White regret may fill history books, but our truth fills the universe, because you can't bury light, okay? You can only delay its sunrise. So to my kings and queens, I say this: remember that we are not waiting for validation. We are the validation, and the world has finally starting listening to us, admitting about what around us. So we have something to brag about. Until next episode, peace out.